welcome to Creation Magazine Live. This is Creation Ministries International. We've got 7 offices worldwide, this ministry, and we also publish Creation Magazine, which is our flagship publication. It's been going up for over 30 years now. And so what we do on the show is just take a look at some of the articles we've had in the past and give you kind of a snapshot into what the magazine covers. So what are we going to talk about today?
We are, there's a picture here of Ernst Mayr. He lived to be 100 years old. He was an evolutionary biologist. This article is called Creation Teaching Makes a Difference by Dr. David DeWitt here. This is from the March to May 2006 issue, 28-2. And I thought, interesting article on this evolutionary biologist. Stephen Jay Gould once described evolutionary biologist Ernst Mayr, who lived from 1904 to 2005.
Wow.
Amazing, yeah. Pictured above, and you'll see his picture there on the website if you're following along. The article's up on the web. He called him the world's greatest living evolutionary biologist. At 100 years of age, Mayr reflected on his 80 years of studying evolutionary biology. 80 years, wow. And there's a lengthy quote here by Mayr. Curiously, I cannot pinpoint the age at which I became an evolutionist. I received all of my education in Germany, where evolution was not really controversial. In the gymnasium, and that's the equivalent of a high school in North America, my biology teacher took evolution for granted. So I am quite certain did my parents, who, to interest their 3 teenage sons, subscribed to a popular natural history journal that accepted evolution as fact. Indeed, in Germany at that time, there was no Protestant fundamentalism. And after I entered the university, no one raised any questions about evolution, either in my medical curriculum or in my preparations for the PhD. And that's where the quote ends. Mayr grew up in an environment where evolution was the ruling paradigm. It was taken for granted. A popular natural history journal accepted evolution as fact, and no teachers ever raised questions about evolution. It's no wonder that such an environment would produce staunch evolutionists.
Well, that's actually exactly how I grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, really, my parents weren't Christians, so there was no Bible teaching in the home. I'd watch TV. Every now and then you'd see a Christian television show or something like that, but because I didn't have any Bible teaching, I couldn't relate to it, so I'd never watch them, really. You might watch 5 minutes and go, what's going on? Because you just didn't understand it. Every time I went to school, they taught evolution as fact, and everybody just seemed to be agreeing with it, and nobody ever challenged it, so I totally relate to what he went through. Just probably don't have the gentleman's education, but...
No. Right. Okay. Unfortunately, the widespread acceptance of Darwinism and lack of what he called their Protestant fundamentalism, i.e. belief in the Bible, in Germany during the early 1900s paved the way for the disastrous Nazi Holocaust. Proverbs 18:17 says, "The first to present his case seems right till another comes forward and questions him." Students taught only evolution may assume that it is correct and might not even know how to question it. And that, again, sounds like your scenario. If you said that's the only thing that you were taught, then
I never questioned evolution all through my education. I never did. Yeah. There was never any counterpoint being made, so what would be I wouldn't even know what questions to ask.
No, and it sounds like Ernst Mayr here had the same situation. Yep. There was no other real option being presented. Today, fortunately, resources that question evolution, such as those on the internet, our website, for example, and in Creation Magazine, books and videos are becoming more and more widely available, and it is making a difference. Steve Deckard and I, this is Dr. David DeWitt and Steve Deckard wrote this, or actually they're working at Liberty University together, and I have conducted research on the creation worldviews of Christian college students and the changes resulting from a required course on creation. Among the results we have obtained from this ongoing study at Liberty University, number 1, attending a creation course, seminar, or presentation results in a stronger creation worldview. It should make sense.
Yep.
Number 2, students at Liberty University who attended a Christian high school or were homeschooled had a much stronger creation worldview than those in public school backgrounds, those with public school backgrounds. Number 3, following the creation course, students have a much stronger and more logically consistent creationist worldview. Great.
Yep.
Interestingly, while virtually all of the incoming students believe in a creator, many have inconsistent beliefs, especially in regards to the age of the earth and six-day creation. As this is a particular focus of the course, we see significant shifts towards stronger belief in young earth creation by the end of such a class. Such research, along with personal testimonies and anecdotes, demonstrates that creationist teaching and materials do have significant impact on the beliefs of people. Perhaps if someone had helped Ernst Mayr to question evolution in school, he might have been described as the greatest living creationist biologist. Interesting.
Yeah.
He had no option, and yet, if it's presented as a course, the people can think about it. Obviously, the students that are involved in this study here with Dr. DeWitt and Steve Deckard, they've heard about evolution.
Yeah.
They're not in an environment like Ernst Mayr and like you described, where you're only being presented with a single view. They've heard about evolution, obviously, television, books, magazines, everything, and then they take a course on creation.
See, what's interesting, when I was in school being taught evolution, I was taught evolution through the sciences of geology, biology, astronomy, microbiology. That's where, paleontology, dinosaurs, all that stuff. That's how they taught me evolution. But when I became a creationist, the topics that taught me about creation were biology, geology, microbiology, paleontology, the same science topics. And so Ernst Mayr, all the stuff that he looked at, all the facts he looked at were the exact same thing, the facts that the people in creation believe in. It's just how they were interpreted according to this worldview.
Right.
Right? It's not like there's facts for evolution and facts for creation. It's the same facts interpreted different ways from different starting
points. Let's give an example of a fact. You have a layer of rock composed of a particular grain type, and within that layer of rock there's a dead animal or a dead plant.
Right. So
that's a fact.
So let's say I'm an evolutionist and you're a creationist. We're looking at the same facts. We're observing the exact same things.
Nobody disagrees that there is not a layers of rock, and there aren't dead things in them. Those are facts. Everybody agrees on them.
So then I start and I say, well, yeah, we can tell that this was 70 million years ago that this got deposited. And the creationist says,
well, we can tell that this animal was buried quickly, not that long ago.
Right.
So 2 different interpretations, same fact.
Same thing, exactly.
You run into a sort of indoctrination or brainwashing if teachers and institutions of education are only giving one particular interpretation for the facts that pertain to history, that pertain to things that happened in the past.
That's right.
If we, again, using that example, if we come to rocks and we see things in them, obviously then our explanation has to do with history, things we didn't observe, things in the past, and that's where the story can alter dramatically.
How long ago that creature died, the processes that put it in place.
All of those details.
Those are all open to interpretation. So, yeah, we can tell as we're going out there and getting those materials out there that it is having a positive impact on people. I heard again this weekend as I was speaking, this fella coming up and saying how they'd had Creation magazine in their home from when their kids were very, very young, and he was so pleased their kids had, were grown up now and still solid in their faith, had gone to higher education and gone through courses like that, but they were able to distinguish the difference between a fact and an interpretation, and their kids still held to a Christian worldview and a belief in God.
They were equipped with some of this information.
Exactly. So I encourage you to get to the website and check out articles like this.